Hey, welcome back to another video here on the channel. My name is Tommy Clark. I'm a certified nutrition coach, and today we're going to go over how to meal prep as a basketball player. When it comes to meal prep, there's a lot of misconceptions about it. That it has to be boring, that it's complicated, that you have to be in the kitchen all the time, that it's just too difficult. I'm not going to be able to do it, especially when we get out of this quarantine thing and practice picks back up, school picks back up, work picks back up. You're not going to be able to keep up with that. And none of that is true. It can actually be very simple, very easy, very enjoyable, and it really doesn't take that long. It'll take a little bit of time. I don't want to sit here and act like it'll take 20 minutes to meal prep for the whole week, but it's not going to take 5, 6, 7 hours being in the kitchen on meal prep Sunday like you think you do. So we'll get into all that in today's video. And as always, if you enjoy the video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe down below for new videos just like this every single Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And I've also linked some free resources like Grocery List, the 4 most common mistakes that C athletes make with their nutrition. So if you want to find that out, the link to that's in the description below. All completely free. It's a free ebook, video series, all that good stuff. So the first question I get about meal prep is, how often do I have to do it? Do I have to do meal prep Sunday? Is Sunday a magical day? No one actually asked that, but I think everyone's thinking that because all you see on Instagram is people posting their meal prep Sunday pictures, and you get sick of them because you can't actually make meals to look nice and pretty like that. And the good thing is, you don't have to. And you don't have to meal prep on Sunday. You don't have to meal prep only one day a week. You have to meal prep when it works best for you, on the schedule that works best for you, that you enjoy and is actually sustainable for you. Me personally, I'm not going to be in the kitchen for one day out of the week for 5, 6 hours. That's just unbearable for me. I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm not going to enjoy it, and I'm not going to stick to it long term. I tried that late last year, and I stuck to it for a couple of weeks, I think even a couple of months. But after that, I just got tired of it. It got boring, it got hard, and I didn't keep up with it. My sweet spot happens to be 2 to 3 times per week. And honestly, that's where I see most people have the most success, because it's often enough that you don't have to spend super large amounts of time in the kitchen at one time. You can get it all done in like an hour or two, which is not that bad. But it's also not so often that you find yourself in the kitchen every single day. If you enjoy cooking and you're like a chef type and you really enjoy that, then by all means, be in the kitchen every day. Cook every meal by hand as you eat it, so everything's hot and tastes good and all that great stuff. I applaud you for that. But most of us, especially with busier schedules, aren't going to have that time, aren't going to have that luxury to be able to do that, nor are we going to want to do that. So again, the biggest thing is pick a time or pick a schedule or frequency that works best for you. Whether it be if it works once a week, amazing. If it works twice a week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week, 6 times a week, every single day, I don't really care. I just care that you can be consistent with it. So hopefully that makes sense. And then the next question, and logically so, what do you actually cook? Like, what do you meal prep? How do you know what to cook every week? What are you actually making when you prep? And a really simple framework to follow when it comes to this that I recommend to my clients, I use it for myself, is the rule of 3s. And the rule of 3 essentially states that every time you meal prep, you're cooking 3 protein sources, 3 carb sources, and 3 veggies. I don't include fat in there because usually you don't actually have to prep fat. Like, if you think about olive oils and nut butters and nuts and things like that, you don't really have to prep them, but you can include that if you want to. But the rule of 3 is, again, 3 protein sources, 3 carb sources, 3 veggies. And you really want to include veggies in there because if you don't, you're not going to eat your veggies. So make sure you include those. And what you'll do when you cook them is cook them, and don't try to portion them all out nicely and neatly into little Tupperwares and post them on Instagram to make yourself look good. Cook them and store them in bulk. For example, when you cook something, let's say you cook a bunch of ground beef, chicken, and salmon for your protein sources. Instead of portioning them out into 4-ounce portions all nicely, store all the beef together, store all the chicken together, store all the salmon together, all in one big Tupperware, or one for each of those meats. And that way, throughout the week, you can pick and choose what you want versus being stuck and confined to meals that you prepped on Sunday. Because what a lot of people will do is pre-make their meals, and then they're stuck with those. Let's say you prepped on Sunday, by the time Wednesday comes around, you might not want salmon, sweet potato, and broccoli. You might want chicken breast, sweet potato, and broccoli. And if you didn't store everything in bulk, you don't have that freedom. You're kind of stuck in those meals that you prep for yourself. So store them in bulk, and the same goes for carb sources and veggies and things like that. Just if you cook white rice, store the white rice together. If you cook carrots, broccoli, and spinach, store the carrots together, store the broccoli together, store the spinach together. Don't try to again, portion them out all nicely and neatly. That's gonna make things a lot easier for you and give you more freedom throughout the week to mix and match. So that's the rule of threes. And again, I say the rule of threes, but you can prep more than 3 things in each category. Obviously, if you're prepping for the whole week, you're probably gonna need to do that. If you're prepping for one day, you probably only need 1 thing from each category. So again, this is very scalable and adjustable to whatever you want to do and whatever fits best with your routine. And the last major tip, or second to last major tip I have for you, is keep it simple. Don't start with fancy recipes. I've been doing this stuff for years and I still don't do fancy recipes. I'm not the best in the kitchen. I know enough to get it done, but I'm not meal prepping this fancy recipe that I found on Pinterest or whatever, wherever you find recipes. That shows how much I know, because I don't use recipes. I just keep it with the basics. As always, the simpler you can keep it, especially as a busy athlete, and especially as quarantine kind of gets lifted and you go back to regular life, you're gonna have a crazy schedule, whether you're in school, whether you're a pro athlete. So keeping it simple is gonna allow you to actually stick to this. And as we know, the biggest determinant of your success in your nutrition plan is your ability to stick to it. So that recipe you found on Instagram might be good to make 1 time a week, but if you're trying to rely on that every day and it's super complicated and you don't know how to track it and all this other stuff, it's gonna be difficult to actually create success with that. And like I mentioned, you can make your meal prep simple, but also taste really good. And one way to do that is to use seasonings. Don't just eat bland chicken breast with salt and pepper. Switch it up. Use taco seasoning, lemon pepper, Italian seasoning. There's a million different things you could use. And one of the easiest ways to make your meals taste different and switch it up and add variety to your diet without even changing the food that you're eating is to use seasoning. So I would really recommend stocking up your spice cabinet and switching them out on a regular basis. That way you can keep that variety in there without having to put in any extra effort when it comes to your food intake. So that's how I would recommend going about meal prep as an athlete. If you're a younger athlete, you might not be forced to meal prep for yourself, because luckily you have your parents cooking for you, and that's great. But I would recommend, as you can, start to get in the kitchen with them, start to get yourself acclimated with cooking some basic stuff like baking, making rice, things like that that are super easy but are really, really fundamental skills, and that will serve you really well when you go off to college, or if you end up playing professionally and you actually have to be on your own and you don't have someone cooking for you. So I would recommend learning this stuff now. And as a professional athlete, if you already are at that level, you definitely want to be cooking for yourself, because you don't know what team you're going to go to. And if you're at a team in some obscure country in the middle of Eastern Europe, you might not have the resources that you do playing in the NBA or the G League or a top level European league. So you want to make sure you have the ability to sustain yourself regardless of where you're at. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any questions. As always, I'm here to help. Drop a comment down below. Yeah, in the comments down below, let me know what your go-to meal prep schedule is. Are you a meal prep Sunday type of person? Are you prepping 2 times a week every day? What's your go-to meal prep schedule? Let me know in the comments down below. Drop a like on the video, and I'll be sure to catch you in the next video.